Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cowboys Fan Show. Tyler Ortega, Scott Jeter, and it's now time to introduce our Fan of the Week. He is a coach's assistant as well as the equipment manager for the local Duke City Gladiators. Michael Sanchez, welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
In addition to being all that for the Gladiators, he's also a diehard Cowboys fan. So real quick, Mike, 20 seconds or less, give me a quick take on the Dallas Cowboys so far.
Quick take, I really like the direction of this team. The offense is high-powered and can obviously move the ball down the field and score. It's evident we've been doing 30-point games time after time after time. Defense needs some work. They need to adjust. I think it's time for T-Will to get out, let a new receiver in. I think we're going to see some secondary changes, but we got some good defense coming back. So 2-3, not panic mode.
It's on the way.
Everybody else should be scared.
Early in the season, so let's go ahead and do what we normally do here in the B block, which is look at what went right and what went wrong in our previous game. You know, quite a bit went right for the Cowboys, but on the flip side, you got to look at Aaron Rodgers doing it again to the Cowboys, going 75 yards in 62 seconds to win the ball game. And when you look at that drive, it started off with 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the ball game. All they need is a field goal to tie. Aaron Rodgers is such a bad man that he says, I don't even want 3. I'm going to go get the touchdown. We're going to win this game. Now let's have a look at this last drive here as Aaron Rodgers just puts on a master class on how to win a football game. Scott, go ahead and give us a little bit of analysis here.
And this is what we were kind of touching on this a little bit during the break is not even so much that it's just Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal play caller. He actually has the faith of his coaches. He can do everything at the line. He recognizes what's going on with these defenses. He finds the holes. What we were talking about earlier is there's no contain on any of these. So you've got a massive quarterback like Aaron Rodgers back here, number 12. See, again, no contain, doing what he does. And we got Jalen Smith, number 54, the rookie, calling plays on the other side. So he's going to get eaten up in that chess match all day if you're talking audibles going against number 12. You know, I mean, his football IQ is a lot higher right now than that of Jalen Smith, who just came out of college 2 years ago, sat redshirted last year with a knee injury.
Yeah, and when you think about it, to put it into perspective, it's kind of like, you know, a 10-year-old playing chess against a 20-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes, and you can't teach experience, especially at the game's highest level, which is the NFL. This is the cream of the crop, the smartest, the fastest, the biggest, the strongest guys that are out there on the field. And when you talk about Aaron Rodgers himself, you know, I mentioned it before we went to break, he's by far one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you'd agree with me on that one. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
First ballot Hall of Famer. I would say he rivals the other 12. Probably going to catch some flack on that. But the man shows no pressure. And it goes back to that press conference he had a couple years back where he said, RELAX.
Yeah.
And it was evident when he came in the game, just like you said.
Panic.
It could be a child prodigy, 10-year-old chess player, Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
But he's going up a guy who's watched football for 12 years, watched exactly what's going to happen.
He's won a Super Bowl, Bowl MVP.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And on that one play where he runs out, like you mentioned, Jalen Smith was not even in the frame.
No.
Sean Lee would have been in the picture, would have been chasing. When Crawford missed that tackle, we would have had some contain.
Absolutely.
No, and
We got to have tackles on the field. Don't let the guys get out of bounds.
Yes, it's a rookie mistake. And I don't want to say rookie mistake. It's just difficult for a guy like Jalen Smith to play this game against Aaron Rodgers. Yes, and I agree, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's allowed to play calls at the line because he can do these type of things. He's going to take what is given to him, and that was what was given to him by the defense.
Absolutely. And you watch veteran quarterbacks, Peyton Manning's, Tom Brady, you allow them at this point in their career to offensive coordinate.
Yes. Tony Romo. Yeah,
Tony Romo. And he's doing it on TV, calling plays.
Yeah.
Prior to the defense, he's reading that defense. Our coach's favorite question to ask is, when are you going to read the play? Prior to the play.
Yes.
So.
why do we always kind of talk about Tony Romo?
Love Tony Romo.
Love Tony Romo.
Why? Nobody's talking about Tony anywhere. I digress. Moving along. The Dallas Cowboys, these are some serious signs that they're showing. Bad signs. The Cowboys have blown double-digit leads at home the past 2 weeks.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sure, you can say, yeah, well, it's Aaron Rodgers. Well, sure, but Jared Goff is not Aaron Rodgers.
You're right.
You know, that we saw week before last with the LA Rams coming to town, pulling their comeback. Now, the defense, as these guys were just talking about, they're not doing too hot. In the second half of the last 2 games combined, they've allowed 42 points in comparison to half number 1, just 28 points total. This defense can't stop a water leak, guys. Why is that the problem? And looking at the bigger picture, it's not even just the last 2 weeks. It's been the last 10, 11, 12 years that we've seen, even when Tony took over. You know, Tony always put us in great positions to win ball games, but the defense could never come up with a stop. Why is this such a big issue for Dallas?
Well, I mean, going back 10, 12 years, I mean, who was our number one? We had DeMarcus Ware over there, but other than that, you know, I mean, we didn't have like the defensive superstars. We never had. We always had a bottom half of the league defense over there. So, but that was what plagued us in the first couple of weeks of this season, in my opinion. Suspensions. Not a lot of help back there. We just got David Irving back, but other than that, nobody other than DeMarcus
and he made an impact. David Irving made an immediate impact.
Yeah, we were even missing DeMarcus Moore for the first 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So they're coming back. They're making it deep. But to go to your question, I think that, and this is my personal opinion of a 40-year fan, they're so into the mentality of we're going to dictate the game. We don't see second half adjustments, and we were talking on the break. Not even on offense is there a second half adjustment. They're so headstrong on we're going to impose our will. Sometimes you've got to change your mentality.
Yeah, we've got Pro
and
Bowls
like
on
they
the
say,
line.
take what the defense gives you.
Yeah.
There's all these cliches that come up in sports for reasons. Adjust in the second half. Against Denver, they adjusted in the second half, went to a 3-2-6, 6 DBs, and kept contained.
Right.
Made tackles in the field. Lo and behold, look at the defense in the second half was good. Did we win the game? No. But did they adjust?
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm going to go with you. They haven't adjusted in the recent couple years, obviously. It's been blatant.
Right. So how do they adjust? How do they turn that around? Is it through the addition of a player or two? Do you have to get a new defensive coordinator in? Do you have to make wholesale changes starting at the top with Jason Garrett? I'm not going to often go say fire Jason Garrett, but something clearly has to be done because what we're doing is the definition of insanity. We're doing the same thing over and over and over and hoping for different results.
I actually disagree. And let me tell you this, and I want to get your take on that as well. So I think that we actually struggled in the first couple of games of the season because we didn't have defensive help due to suspensions.
Right.
We struggled the last couple of weeks because same thing. We didn't have defensive help because of injuries. We even tried to make an adjustment this week. We tried to put Cheeto in instead of Jeff Heath at the safety spot, but he pulled a hamstring. So these coaches are trying to make adjustments, but they can only work with what they've been given right now.
You're exactly right. Parcells said it, you got to buy the groceries, and right now we had the groceries, but the groceries were just unpacked. They weren't out on the shelf yet. Now we've got the groceries. That's why earlier I said it's not time to panic.
No.
I don't think that there's any major adjustments that we need. I think the talent level just had to come back. And to touch on the early part of the season, our entire secondary, minus Nolan Carroll, who's been released, were rookies.
And out.
And
missed
out.
Training camp.
And missed training camp due to school regulations. You're staying out. Hamstring issues because they didn't get a full off season. So there's a lot to tie into these first 4 games. And I mentioned during our break, the bye couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah,
I really don't think there's a whole lot that has to be done other than get healthy and refocus.
Yeah.
Just refocus. We've got the groceries.
I don't think getting healthy and refocusing helps you not blow double-digit leads at home. That's my main concern.
Well, but I think the getting healthy portion of getting Lee back, getting Moore, getting Hitchens, getting Crawford back, which was evident, having DeMarcus Lawrence already with a game sack in every single game and leading the league with 7.5. These pieces will eventually now start to form together. And it's not when you're hot in the beginning. It's get hot in the end. I'm loving that we're struggling now. I would much rather have this conversation week 5 with you guys than week 15.
You touched on it earlier. RELAX. What did Green Bay do after Aaron Rodgers came out and had that press conference?
Right.
Ran the table.
Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest to ever play, though.
Right, but hey, and I'm not going to put Dak. I'm not going to call Dak an elite quarterback. I'm not putting him in that echelon. So please don't anybody get me wrong. But what I am saying is Dak has it. He can read the games. He has those moments where, and we talked about it, where they introduced the read option this year. He'd never done that before. He ran it slightly at Mississippi State, but now he's got it, and that prejudgment at the line, he already knows what he's doing. Evident by the score on the third down play after we shouldn't have thrown it to Dez.
Right. We've put up over 60 points the last 2 weeks.
So,
But the problem is we've given up 70.
right.
With Sean Lee out, injuries. I mean, Anthony Hitchens' first game back as well.
Right.
I'm with my man. I think
that these young guys
big time.
are going to start understanding, because Jordan Lewis is a stud. Xavier Woods is going to take over for Heath. These guys are going to come out and they're going to be hungry to get the tackles. They don't shy away from tackles. And the greatest corner ever, Dion, shied away from tackles. We've got guys that are willing to play good coverage. You look at the tape, and Jordan Lewis was in that man's face every catch.
Every
yes,
play.
he caught the last one.
Anthony Brown as well.
Anthony Brown was there every time. But with time comes experience.
We've got to go to break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that remote. We're going to be right back in just a couple minutes. This is the Cowboys Fan Show.